And Happy New Year to everybody.
These
I'm
work here?
calling the meeting to order of the City Council of the City of Pacifica to order for January 12th, 2015. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Keener.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember Neihardt.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Degree.
Present.
Mayor Irvin.
Present. Okay, please join us in a salute to the flag led by Mayor Pro Tem Sue Degree.
I see that the flag is over there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we left it over there.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
stands one nation, under God, indivisible.
with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have a closed session report?
Reportable action?
Okay, thank you. This brings us to the consent agenda. So far, I have had 2 items asked to be pulled from the consent agenda. Let me get those. And that's item 5, memorandum of understanding with San Mateo County firefighters, and item 6, authorized increase in the salary range for the financial services manager position. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and approve the consent agenda on the remaining items. If anyone from the public would like to speak on items on the consent agenda, you may do so now. Seeing no one, I will bring it back to council. Do we have any comments on the consent agenda?
I have your lights.
Mary Ann?
I move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Doesn't it be approved as amended? Approval as amended?
It's without the minus, without the other 2. That's a given.
Great, thank you. Okay. Okay, so we are going to go ahead now and address the items that were removed.
We have to vote.
Want to vote?
Okay, sorry. I'll
We
get
have a
used to
motion and a
this.
second.
Yeah, okay.
We'll call for the vote.
So we need a vote?
Why did I hit? Oh, sorry, wrong button.
New seat.
And you're going to
vote over here.
John's a little off. There we go. Come over close.
And everybody revote.
Okay.
Only 2 lights.
Michael, you need a revote.
I did.
Oh, you did?
There we go.
Sorry about that.
And now you say it.
Okay.
And
That is
passes
approved, 5 to 0.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, so now that brings us to item 5 of the consent agenda. Again, that's the memorandum of understanding with San Mateo County firefighters.
Staff report.
Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Lori Tinfo, and I'm the City Manager. Assistant City Manager Lorenzo Hines ran back to City Hall to gather his belongings. That's why you're going to be hearing from me, since this is here before us. As you know, this MOU, which is what we describe the Memorandum of Understanding, has been in the works for some time, and there is a press release that the city will be issuing tomorrow. And I thought I would just highlight the main parts of the press release in terms of a report to you all. The agreement includes that the members of the unit will increase, and this has to do with the firefighters, will increase their contributions to pension costs by an additional 3% over the term, for a total of 12% that they will be paying toward the city's required pension contribution to CalPERS. This action helps the city address significant pension cost increases that are expected over the upcoming years. The agreement also includes a cessation, basically a stop of city contributions, 3% per member, into a 401A retirement plan. So this is something they've been getting. In addition, it will stop with the approval of this contract. The agreement also incorporates changes made by the Public Employee Pension Reform Act of 2012, known as PEPRA, that then creates a more modest pension benefit for bargaining unit members that were hired or are hired after January 1st, 2013. The agreement does include some salary increases to maintain our ability to attract and retain qualified personnel, and the total costs over the almost 4-year agreement is approximately $300,000. So with that, I'd be happy to answer questions that you might have.
Are there any questions from council? Okay, now it's open for public comment. And I have so far not received any cards from the public. So I will bring it back to council. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make?
Your lights.
Councilmember O'Neill?
I do have some concerns about the contract, although I do want to say is I think there are a lot of really good points in this contract that's different than what we've had before, and that is it's a multi-year contract. I also want to compliment Carol, the new negotiator we had on here, that I think it was finally, we finally have an agreement that was ratified by the fire department. But my concerns basically are that when you do a contract, there's expectations set for performance and everything, and I am concerned about, will the city have the revenue in 3 years to be able to do all the salary increases? So I am concerned about that. And there was another point, but I forgot to write that down, so I'll let go of that big
Okay,
one.
thank you. Councilmember Neihardt?
Yes, I want to say that I'm incredibly appreciative of finally getting to a resolution in this, and that there has been 3% that has been given back, and that's real money when you think about 3% out of a pension, that the cost is now going to be borne by the firefighters, and that's important to recognize. I also want to recognize that our city manager has talked about a 5-year budget plan in which we will have coverage for the salaries that we're talking about at this point in time. It's a very modest increase compared to other cities, so I just want to make sure that we really endorse our city manager and move forward. Thank you. And thanks to the firefighters.
Any other comments? Okay, oh, there you go, thank you. Councilmember Keener?
Yeah, I just want to say briefly, I think it's a good agreement. It's fair to both parties, and the negotiating team did a great job.
Thank you.
Any comment? Okay, I'd just like to say I greatly appreciate that we were able to negotiate this contract. This is a huge positive step in the right direction, and I greatly appreciate the sacrifices the employees have made over the last 5 years, and I think this is really indicative of the fact that we are moving on an upward trajectory, and we care about our city employees, and we care about putting our city in a good position moving forward, and I'm very grateful to all of our city employees moving forward, and tonight to the fire department. Thank you very much, and I'm ready to hear a motion.
I'll move approval of the contract.
Okay, thank you, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, ready for a vote?
Do you need to say something?
I just want to clarify that it's approval of the resolution
The resolution.
adopting
Okay,
the
thank
MOU.
you.
Right.
So noted.
And that passes 4-1. And, okay.
Turn off your lights.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next consent agenda item. That was authorizing increase in the salary range for the financial services manager position. Do I have any questions from,
Staff report.
oh, staff report, thank you.
And Lorenzo is back, so he'll be handling this item with the council.
Okay, great, thank you.
Please. Oops. You have his mic turned off.
Talk about the authorization increase in the salary range for the financial services manager position. So this position itself oversees the city's finance division. That's our accounting and budgets division. It is a mid-management position. We have had 2 recruitments thus far during 2014. Both of those recruitments have yielded roughly 45 candidates. And out of those 45 candidates, let's say none of them have met the grade. We are encountering a interesting dynamic in the world of governmental accounting in that we've got a lot of our experienced accountants are starting to retire. And so that next generation of accountants isn't being groomed because those mentors aren't there. Secondly, we've got the cost of living here in San Mateo County. So when we post these salaries, they look impressive, but as soon as the candidates start doing research and finding out what the cost of living is, all of a sudden those salaries don't look as good. And lastly, and I can tell you as a person who was an instructor for one of our more prominent CPA review courses, that when kids are leaving their undergraduate accounting curriculum, they are looking for private sector positions. They're not looking for government positions. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that our educational institutions are training these kids for private sector jobs. And the curriculum for governmental accounting is small, if it exists at all. So we've got those factors working against us. And so given what we know, given what we've been through, we are recommending to the council that we increase the range for the financial services manager by roughly $9,000 annually, $737 a month. And it's our hope that this increase in salary range will attract more qualified candidates and allow us to fill this very necessary position. So Mayor, Honorable Mayor and members of the council, I am open to questions if you have any.
Great, thank you very much for that report. And does any of the council members have any questions? No questions? Okay, that means I bring it to the public. Does anybody in the audience have any questions they'd like to ask? Okay, that means I'll bring it back to council. Are there any comments that anybody would like to make? No comments? No? Do I have a motion? Councilmember O'Neill?
I move that we pass the resolution increasing the salary of the financial services manager.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so ready to take a vote? And that passes 5-0. So great, thank you. Okay. So next, we have 2 presentations tonight. And the first presentation is by Poet Laureate Dorcetta Hale. Is Dorcetta, okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dorcetta.
It's hiding
Coming.
behind the podium.
Hello, it's so good to see you. Congratulations to the new members and the new mayor, and I'm happy to see some familiar faces and hoping to get to know the new people. My name's Dorcetta, and I was selected Poet Laureate in 2013 and became the Poet Laureate in 2014, January. Let's see. Mike Perez, the director of the Pacifica Parks Beaches and Recreation Department, asked me to come tonight and let you know what I've been doing the past year. Actually, it was at the urging of Cindy Abbott, who is a Facebook fan and a very good supporter of mine. She's been seeing everything that I've been doing in the name of Pacifica. Anything that I'm invited to in the literary arts in the Bay Area, I've been going to and representing Pacifica, and I've been having a wonderful time getting to know the other poet laureates in the Bay Area and learning from them what I can do. And so my first project, I have a couple of projects that I would like to see done, but my first one has finally gotten approved and been underway. which is the Poetry Corner in the Pacifica Tribune, which I would like to invite other poets in Pacifica to submit their poems and have them published in the paper. And that was started by Rod Clark, our first poet laureate, several years ago. And it has taken a year to get this going, but it's finally coming to fruition, and I'm really proud of that. And as I said, I do have other projects in the works, but it's going to take a little bit more time. But I did want to read a poem that I wrote about Pacifica, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
It's called Of All Places on Earth. Of all places on earth, I found you in my own backyard. Sometimes you're smooth and strong like driftwood. You can be quiet, gentle, and tranquil. Other times you flicker between a whisper and a roar, alluding to a secret inner explosion. I savor every moment with you, to be near you. Nothing smells like you. Even if I stand sideways, nothing excites me like the anticipation of catching a glimpse of you. The aqua blue road sign beckons, next 9 exits. It's time, I'm positive. My journey ends here, Pacifica. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dorcetta. That was absolutely beautiful, and we're very honored to have you serving our city and representing our city throughout the neighborhoods. It's just beautiful. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make for Dorcetta? No. We just are very grateful that you're, oh, I'm sorry, I do have one. Councilmember Nyhart?
I just wanted to say, Dorcetta, you've done an awesome job during the year that I was mayor, and I just really appreciate your thoughtfulness and for you being here tonight, and that was the poem I was looking for.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'll keep up the good work.
Okay. We could start every meeting with one of those.
That would be very,
It's very nice,
receptive
yeah.
to that idea.
I challenged her to,
Oh,
for those
my
people
goodness.
that don't know, that when she was named, I challenged her to do a poem about Pacifica, and that's a good one.
It wasn't a hard challenge. I love this place.
Okay.
You know I do.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another comment by Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Degree.
Thank you for going through the Tribune. I really like that because you encourage all ages.
Yes.
So we'll have young people and all ages presenting to us. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Well, I'm hoping, to get a lot of response because we do have a lot of talented people here.
Right.
And I'd love to hear from everyone.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again for, delivering such a beautiful message to our city. We really appreciate your service. Thank you very much. Okay, next I have a presentation by Laura Fanucci from Hip Housing.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council and city staff. I'm Laura Fanucci from Hip Housing. I'm here tonight to present you with our Hip Housing 2015 calendar. I believe this is the 15th year that we've had our calendar contest where we ask students kindergarten through 5th grade to draw a picture of their home and then to write a statement about what their home means to them. And this year we had a brother and sister winner here from Pacifica, and they're here with me tonight.
Oh, great.
Angelo and America. And I'm going to get out this stand here. So Angelo and America would like to read their quotes, and you can find Angelo's picture on the month of April. So Angelo, you want to come up here? And do you want to?
All right.
My home means family, friends, and fun. We celebrate who we are and our good times together.
Okay. And here's his sister, America.
Ah,
And America is on the next page on the month of May. She has a really long, beautiful quote here. Okay.
My home is a place of safety and comfort, love and warmth. It's like the inside of a rose. It smells good and feels good to be inside of my home.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
So we use these calendars as an outreach tool to educate the community about our affordable housing programs, our home sharing program, and our self-sufficiency program for families with children. Now more than ever in our county, we're experiencing an incredible housing crisis. We have probably about a 20% increase in the number of calls that are coming to our organization. We are in desperate need of more people that have rooms for rent in their home because we have hundreds of people that are seeking a place to live. So I hope that you will look at these calendars throughout the year to be reminded of the work that we do in the community, that you would recommend people call our organization for any kind of housing assistance that they might need. And we thank America and Angelo for entering our contest and for being the winners and representing your town of Pacifica. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, we might have a few comments.
Wait.
Laura. Okay, the first comment by Councilmember Neihardt.
I just wanted to say that, first of all, thank you to both of our lovely contributors here from Pacifica. That's great. America, and yeah, awesome. And Angelo. I just wanted to say to you, your job is becoming absolutely overwhelming, along with our Pacifica Resource Center and others. The single most concerning thing to me in the Bay Area right now is housing prices. And we can't, I do a ton of hiring, and I can tell you exactly what our assistant city manager said is absolutely true. What you would look at as being significant salaries is not enough to keep people in their homes. And I hear every day about people losing their place in which they've rented for years, but it's being sold and remodeled and something's being done to it. When you're talking about $3,600 for a basic apartment in San Francisco, and you're talking about $2,800, $2,2400 to $2,800 in Pacifica, it's outrageous.
I know.
And it's killing families. And when we talk as a council about affordable housing, we are no longer talking about people who are in any way, shape, or form in the rest of the country impoverished. We are talking about good teachers, firefighters, people that are trying to earn a living and survive, and that we need in our community, and we can't get them housing. So you are vital, and we have to continue to look at this and address this problem with the rest of our community, and we're very hopeful we can do that.
Well, I really thank you for your comments because, the Pacifica Resource Center, I know for sure they are really impacted with this housing crisis as well. And our organization is as well. And we're trying to do the very best that we can, especially through our home sharing program, to try to find more people that will consider opening up their homes, putting that empty room to good use, having a little extra income from a housemate. We're fortunate that we actually have a lot of people in here in Pacifica that participate in this program. And the rents are generally, we see on a little bit of the lower end, which is really great for that program. But we need more people. We usually hover around probably 300 people at any given time that are looking for housing. Now we're at 400. So, the demand is high, and like you said, people are being forced from their apartment units, and the new landlords are remodeling, they're raising the rents, they can't afford the rents, so they're losing their housing, then they turn to home sharing. So home sharing program has to be one of the most viable resources to find affordable housing here in the county, but we just need the community's help to find those clients that are willing to open up their home. They not only help themselves by having extra income, but they help the community by providing a housing resource. So I thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
And we have a couple more comments. Mayor Pro Tem Degree?
Thank you to the children. Your artwork is stunning. It's really, and April is my month, by the way. Yes, I really encourage you to continue to explain what it actually means to share a home, because we know there's a lot of people that need it, but I don't think it's too clear about how to go about it.
Right.
And the testimonials I've heard, it's been a wonderful benefit for those who provide.
Right. So we call our home providers the individuals that have the home that they want to share. They usually have one room available, sometimes two. They come into our organization, we have an interview with them, as well as an interview with all the people seeking housing. So to share a home basically means, that somebody has an extra room available in their home to rent out to somebody who can either pay rent or to somebody who might need a little bit of help at home. It might be a senior who lives alone and they might need some help with doing laundry or cooking or companionship for reduced rent or for sometimes no rent kind of situation. So it's really a situation where it helps to provide extra income and support to the person who's offering the room, and the individual seeking housing who moves in has an affordable housing resource. So clients, we meet with them in our office, or we do a home visit with them. We complete an application for them. There's no cost to the program. We ask all clients for 3 character references, proof of income. We do a local San Mateo background check here. So it's a very thorough screening process. And we also have a written living together agreement that we complete for clients when they decide they want to share housing together. And we provide follow-up support after they move in. So it's a very comprehensive process. It's a free service to the community. It's supported by the county, and people can reach us at 348-6660 or visit us at hiphousing.org.
Thank you. We're going to have a photo op.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to get a picture with the kids, with the council, but also I just want to, again, thank you for your presentation. It is incredibly worthwhile and incredibly timely today. And I did want to just ask you very briefly, I know that you do several other things in addition to providing housing or shared homes.
Yes. So we have also our self-sufficiency program for families with children. This is a model welfare to work program where we usually work with about 70 single parent or two-parent families a year, where the parent is in school or doing job training, and we help to support their housing for a year to 5 years. So some families are sharing housing in 3 properties that HIP Housing owns, and others are provided with a housing scholarship to help support their housing. So all the families get case management, they have an educational plan, they also have other community resources in terms of also building up their savings and their credit. So it's a wonderful program to enable families to gain more economic stability by allowing them to finish their education. And then HIP Housing also owns and manages properties here in San Mateo County. We have about 240 units of below market and subsidized housing, all the way from Daly City down to Menlo Park, which is our newest property. So some properties are project-based Section 8 and others are below market rent. So we have a full waiting list of clients waiting to get into those properties. We usually don't have very many vacancies in those units, and we're always looking for new opportunities to expand our property development portfolio so that we can create more affordable housing here in the county.
Wow, well, thank you again. It's such vital information for our community, and we really appreciate what you do.
Thank you
and
very
we
much.
would love to get a picture with the
kids. Want to come up again?
Sit down.
Watch out, though.
Oh, we're getting a picture.
Too infected.
Come up to the front. Come on up to the front.
with all of us.
Here in the front with the light. Yes. They'll join you up there. Great.
Just hip stamp or anyway, house.
Right. Oh, it's, how shiny. Okay, thanks again for that wonderful presentation. This brings us to council communications. So I'll start with you, Councilmember O'Neill.
And it was, not too many meetings because it was pretty, slow during the holidays, but I did want to make note of the passing today of a great friend of Pacifica and someone that I think a lot of people in this room know or knew, and that was Elaine Larson, who was the editor of the Tribune and worked at the Tribune for 26 years. She was a friend of mine. I think she was a friend of probably most of the council here, and she will be missed. She had a rough time last year, but she passed away today. I have no information on services or anything like that, and I would ask that we can adjourn the meeting tonight in her memory.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem Degree?
Yes, it has been quiet, except for actually the last 6 weeks in the city of Pacifica and elsewhere in the county. It is homelessness that has affected me the most. It's really, we always talk about homelessness and how bad it is, but these last 6 weeks, in my personal experience, it's been incredible, and I've actually met families and individuals, and at the same time also heard about several others that are on the verge of homelessness. It has washed away, I did have a great Christmas, but it has washed away even the immediate worry about sea level rise and what we're going to do about it, and the revenue, getting revenues for our city. Homelessness is really something I think that we have to tax our intellects and figure out something different than what we're doing, because this isn't working. Even though on the plus side, I think the hip housing type of thing is allowing intergenerational, and it's creating communities. And that's another way of life is going, perhaps, that we are more connected in some ways by having to go that way. But I'm just really worried, I'm sure you've heard about it too, that the middle class and lower is going. So I have I'm trying to feverishly help people that are out on the streets. With stormy weather, I personally knew people out on the streets and wasn't able to find shelter for all of them.
Right.
That how do we do this? How do we have such high tech going on with fantastic salaries and people with jobs there, and yet what is our policy? How are we going to provide for those who are feeding them? Are they going to live in these places so that they have houses there? It's just, it made the mind work, and has kind of put me on alert that I can't just accept it. Something has to be challenged. We have to do something. What, I don't know, but anyway. And here in town, we're moving forward for our own economic development. We have our meeting tomorrow night. I do encourage the community to get more and more involved. You don't have to come to the every month meetings, but you may want to be on some subcommittee meetings. Put your thinking caps together and work together. We also have the open space and parkland committee meeting on the third Wednesdays, so that's going on. The commute.org is moving on. That's Thursday morning. And our yes, emergency services meeting is on Thursday. So all of a sudden, it's all happening again. But we can't forget. What are we going to do about homelessness? Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Do I have any? Councilmember Neihardt. Well, I didn't turn it off. Councilmember Neihardt.
Yeah, I have a number of things because I have had all my meetings. I just want to underscore what Councilmember Degree said. I absolutely concur. And it's not homelessness in the way that you think of. I mean, I've been helping people near and dear to many folks' hearts that trying to find housing that can't find housing. And it's kind of stunning and difficult. And we're losing good folks to, it's just sad. So we have to look at affordable housing in a way that actually is doable, and that's another whole conversation. In the meantime, I have had a couple of important meetings, and one of which I want to share with council. First of all, I just asked the city manager to share the budget summary on transportation with all of you, so you'll get that in your emails. The governor's budget actually clearly outlines the literally billions of dollars that we are in the hole in terms of infrastructure. We just aren't cutting it, and we're going to fall $6 billion plus in the hole each year that we're out here. He's got some proposals, but most of the proposals are about toll roads and toll usage, and you're going to get to see that discussed in your own San Mateo County, because it's already been brought forward to CCAG about a hot lane on 101, and so we're looking at other ways of providing for infrastructure money, and that's going to be just a massive discussion as we go forward. But one that I think is going to be very interesting, and I can only share this publicly with all of you, is I printed these off. This is the PowerPoint at CCAG. We had our very first presentation of the community choice aggregation, and the county is moving forward, and we did not have this in our climate action plan as an alternative. And it's interesting that some cities did put it into their climate action plan, but it can only really be done at a larger aggregate. And what it entails is working as a community, to buy energy that is outside of the traditional PG&E, but is clean energy or cleaner energy sources, green sources. And if you use the purchasing power, much like Marin did, to do this, you can bring down the cost and bring down, and in a good way, have greener, cleaner energy. So there is going to be, the thing I wanted to let you know about is actually the legislation for this surprised me. It was passed in 2002, and it's only been in the last few years that Marin moved forward on it, and I think Sonoma County is moving forward on it. So this might actually make up the difference on, and according to what's happened in Marin, if you go through this, it's really quite positive. There will be a workshop on the 28th of this month. I highly recommend, there's a morning and an afternoon, they're going to be the same, that people go and attend. This will also be presented at Council of Cities. I'm going to hear it a couple more times at either the TA, CCAG. It's going to be brought up again at the Transportation Authority, which I was just sworn into, and also at the City and County Association of Governments, for what those initials all stand for. But the timeline that's being pushed in the county is pretty quick. In other words, they're looking at doing these workshops for city staff and for council, and then they're going to move toward the board is going to approve the end of February, first part of March, a feasibility study. And in that feasibility study, they'll basically look at the funding sources and whether it makes sense and whether or not we have the ability to institute this. It took Well, it's in here how much money it took Marin to start it, and San Mateo County has plenty of money, so I imagine the feasibility study will come forward pretty easily. After that, they will set up a JPA. The JPA will be, and this whole timeline is charted in these PowerPoints. The cities will be asked for representatives. The cities will be asked to opt in. At the point that your city opts in, Marin's, all of their cities have opted in with the county. It took a couple years. Not everybody did it right away. The questions, I think, have to be fleshed out. What does it mean to our solar system, our own green energy sources that we may have? There's a lot of questions, but I think for us to get knowledgeable about this early would behoove us very well. And I just was saying to Councilmember Keener that somebody that was interested in this, that might really drive this, take this forward, would be a really good thing. My plate's pretty full with all the transportation stuff, but I think this is going to be a very important thing for us to pay attention to as it moves forward in the county. So I wanted to bring it forward to our council tonight, and you're getting it practically first thing.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you,
Sure.
Councilmember Neihardt. And Councilmember Keener, do you have any announcements you'd like to make?
No, I'm new here.
Okay.
Maybe next time.
Okay, great. Well, I'd just like to say a couple things. Number one, I would like to reiterate Councilmember O'Neill's expression of sympathy and sorrow over the loss of Elaine Larson. That is absolutely devastating for our community, and I am so sorry to her family, and I can't imagine the pain they're going through. So I will definitely adjourn the meeting in her honor, who's given us so much. She's informed this city for so many, many years and educated us and communicated with us. So I really, again, want to express my sympathies for her family. It's a terrible loss for our city. In terms of activities that I've been involved in, I went to the legislative committee meeting, and what we did at the last meeting was we reiterated some of the policies that we really look into as part of the City and County Association of Governments, and some of those policies, I'll just list them for you so you kind of know what we're talking about and discussing. Councilmember Neihardt does an excellent job at informing us what's going on with many of these issues. And also, I just wanted to say that some of the points that both Mayor Pro Tem Degree and Councilmember Neihardt brought up in regards to some of the major issues that are facing us are really coming to the forefront, including affordable housing and homelessness and things like that are just so incredibly important. And it just reiterates the fact that the better we are doing economically as a city, the more we will be set up to help people that are homeless and help people that are looking for affordable housing and get some of those projects into this town. We'll be able to support and fund those things. So it all kind of goes together, and it just really points to the fact that we have to keep working at being as economically sustainable and socially sustainable and environmentally sustainable as possible, and that way we all succeed. So again, I want to thank both all of you for making those comments. In terms of the legislative committee meeting, some of the policies that we work on in that committee are protecting against diversion of local funds and protecting against increased local costs from state action, and supporting actions that help municipal stormwater permit requirements and secure stable funding for regulatory mandates, and also supporting transportation funding, advocate for revenue solutions that ensure local governments are benefited, and support reasonable climate protection legislation, greenhouse gas reduction, and energy conservation. And there are several others that we address, but they're very, very important to our county and our cities, and I'm very happy to be a member of that committee, as well as I know Councilmember Neihardt also serves on the committee as well. So I think it has a lot of value to be attending those meetings. I also attended the Beautification Committee meeting where we talked about many of the projects that we're interested in, and again, I encourage anybody that's interested in supporting the city and trying to enhance the beauty of the city to give us a call and support that program. It'd be great to have you there. And I think that's it. So with that, I think we're going to move on to oral communications. And I'm just going to give you a brief introduction into oral communications for any of those of you who haven't done it before. This portion of the agenda is available for the public to address the City Council on any issue that is not on the agenda. Any person wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the mayor, myself, during oral communications, provided, however, that during the oral communications portion of the agenda, only items not on the agenda for that meeting may be addressed. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any member thereof. Council members shall not enter into debate with speakers under oral communications. A maximum of 3 minutes will be allowed for any speaker. Any person making impertinent, slanderous, or profane remarks or who become boisterous while addressing the council shall be called to order by the presiding officer, and if such conduct continues, may at the direction of the presiding officer be ordered barred from further audience before the council during the meeting. Okay, and with that, I'm going to call up the people I have cards for, and if you would like to speak and haven't filled out a card, you can go to the back of the room and fill out a yellow card, and we're happy to hear from you. So the first speaker is Mary Beer.
Good evening, Council. It's so good to be here. Welcome, Councilman Keener. I look forward to getting to know you. My name's Mary Beer. I am the coordinator for the Pacifica Collaborative. I'm also a prevention consultant for the North County Prevention Partnership. I'm here for 2 reasons. One, to let you know that the North County Prevention Partnership is having a town hall meeting on January 28th. We're going to be looking into talking about community solutions to reduce youth access to alcohol and drugs. It's a follow-up for our first town hall meeting that happened last April. So we're looking forward to seeing both communities. We serve both Daly City and Pacifica, which is not always an easy thing to do, considering Daly City has 100,000 people. But we're working at it as hard as we can. So we look forward to having that event on January 28th up at the district office from 6 to 8. We're feeding you dinner, so please come and join us. And the second thing I want to talk about is the Pacifica Prevention Partnership, which I'm really excited about. We've been able to sustain prevention work through the North County Prevention Partnership for the last 3 years, working on work that we have already accomplished. It's coming up on 10 years since there was the fatal accident that took the life of my nephew and his girlfriend. We've learned a whole lot in 10 years. And I'm really excited to say that we're getting the band back together. So we are back with the Jefferson Union High School District, with Pacifica School District, with the Pacifica Police Department, and many other agencies in our community. We're going to be applying for a drug-free community support program, as well as Measure A funding. So I will be back again and again to let you know how that's going. I'm really excited about it, and I think that, we live in a really unique community where people come together and they help each other. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to keep fighting the good fight. And that's about all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. The next speaker is Roger Medler.
Yeah, hi. I haven't seen you for a while. Anyway, Teresa asked me to come down here and back her up on an issue with being investigated. We were supposed to be fully investigated for reading a book out in front of the city hall. We're getting a little ridiculous on this, aren't we? You seem to jump at the chance of doing this to me quite a bit. You actually even said that I threatened Pete DeJarnett, and then you threatened me twice for asking you to enforce the laws in Pacifica, that you're going to, and it just goes on and on. You at least could turn on the siren and, read me my Miranda rights or something. You don't even do that. Anyway, what we were reading the transcript from Seaview Tire and Brakes court order of restraining order. And in the, I've got questions to ask you. You mentioned that, Karen Irving, you mentioned that I spoke out at city council meetings and I contacted different city officials, and I've been to courts over this issue. and I contacted Jerry Hill, Kevin Mullins, and I was frustrated with the city, and I felt unheard. Yes, I do, I felt unheard. You were here for a year and a half. I keep coming to the city council meetings, and you didn't even email me, call me, you don't even talk to me person to person. I don't want to talk to you person to person. You'll probably have me arrested and accused of something, like a terrorist. Well, we don't want to do that anymore. So I'm not sure you're trying to... I'm just asking too many questions about CV time and break, I guess, huh? So you could at least contact me, you know. You don't have to have me arrested. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Next speaker is Therese Dyer.
Good evening, City Council and staff. I'd like to read you something because I have a disabled placard, and it says, when your placard is properly displayed, you may park in or on metered zones without paying, blue zones, green zones without restrictions to time limits, and streets where provincial parking privileges are given to residents and merchants. Okay, so what Roger was speaking about was true. We came to the City Hall and we were sitting in front reading something, and a police officer, I won't mention his name, came by and said, "You've been in the blue zone over 20 minutes. And I said, "Well, how would you know? You weren't here 20 minutes. Anyway, I said, "Well, I'll just back up in the blue zone then, because I have a disabled card." So this has been an ongoing thing for a few years now, and I've been stopped 3 times in 1 month from playing cards and asked me where I was, no violation. I had to go to court twice because I came to the City Council and I parked my car in a disabled spot. Okay, I won those cases. But you know, it's time and effort out of my life that I could use somewhere else. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to file a complaint against this officer to the proper channels. Not going to be no police department either. It's going to be the ADA, and I'm going to submit all of these violations to him. And as far as speaking out to individuals in regular council, that's almost impossible to do. I mean, unless you want a letter written to the editor with your name in, I think you should accept some of the comments. So I'm going to mention this. It's a former mayor last year was a violation of the Brown Act by an attorney that called me and said she should have rescued herself from the Earl Chang case and anything that has to do with mental illness. For your information.
We didn't vote on anything.
No. Okay, the next speaker is Cindy Abbott.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members and staff, and members of the public. And I'm Cindy Abbott, and here tonight I'm speaking on behalf of the Pacifica Resource Center Advisory Board. On Thursday, January 22nd, the Pacifica Resource Center will again be the host agency in Pacifica, supporting the biannual homeless count. The census actually takes place throughout the states and nations and is really important in that it provides information that ends up turning into funding to support the unhoused in our community. Over the past few census counts, Pacifica's reported homeless population has grown. This could be due to the times. We've had conversations tonight about the high cost of housing, and it could be a combination of factors, including that the Pacifica Resource Center has really developed a broader outreach to make sure that the homeless in our city are indeed counted. And because of that, I'm here tonight inviting you to, as City Council members, staff, and members of the public, to take part in the homeless count and to join us on Thursday morning, January 22nd. The count does start early at 6 a.m. Coffee is provided along with training. Registration's been taking place for the past month through San Mateo County, but there is still the opportunity, if you haven't registered, to still be part of the count. And you can do that by contacting Anita at the Pacifica Resource Center at 650-738-7470. And funding is really important, that we have the funds to be able to support our neighbors. But really, the more important transformational occurrence happens in being part of the count. And that's where we really make a connection with the people in our community that are unsheltered. By taking part in actually looking at the number of people out there, we stop averting our eyes, which is maybe something that we naturally do to respect people's privacy while they're out in the streets. But when we're out counting, we can actually look at them and realize that they're people and they're members of our community that are out in the streets. And it's something that really you take with you for a long time afterwards. In fact, it stays with you. And so if you can, we welcome you to do that with us a week from Thursday. Understanding and finding opportunities about the unsheltered, others that are in need of food and other means of support is what the Pacifica Resource Center has been doing for the past 40 years. We'd also like to invite you to an uplifting event where members of the community are being asked to mark their calendars for Sunday, April 26th, where we'll be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Neighbors Helping Neighbors here in Pacifica. So please watch your calendars and or for the news for announcements and invitations to our event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cindy. So I have no other cards. Okay, so that brings us back to council, and we'll start with item 1 of considerations. Do we have a staff report? That's,
There's only one.
Right. This is the 2015 City Council Liaison and Committee Assignments.
Honorable Mayor and council members, each year the council reviews the liaison and committee assignments at the first meeting in January for possible modifications and approval of the revised list. Attached is the proposed list for 2015 for council review and discussion. In consultation with the mayor, staff has taken the liberty of proposing some assignments for council consideration. In addition, some committees have alternates while others do not. In 2 cases, the word alternate has been added to suggest alternates be chosen for these committees. However, the ultimate decision on all committee assignments, except for those made by CCAG or other legislative bodies, as noted, is at the discretion of the council.
Okay, thank you very much for that report. Do I have any questions from council?
Yeah, just can we make corrections?
Yes.
Absolutely.
For you? Because I haven't been acting since last March, so I'm actually chair and probably will continue that. And then you should add the Transportation Authority for me.
Okay. Council member, okay, that was your comment?
That was
That's it. Okay. Council Mayor Pro Tem Degree?
As some of you know, and I talked to the city manager, they're actually for the JPA for Fire Authority. The 2 members, it's not just 1 member, 2 members are needed, so we do need an alternate. I think it's a good idea, just in case.
Okay. Any other questions?
That makes sense.
Okay, anybody from the audience have any questions? I don't have any cards. No?
Oh, we usually just start and go down this.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it back to council, and we'll just go down the list. And, I'll just add before we start going down, we did our best to try to fill in areas, and if anybody has anything they'd like to do and they're not on the list for that, or we need alternates, or any other changes, this is the time to make those changes. So we got the 2 changes that Mayor Pro Tem Degree and Councilmember Nyhart recommended. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to change that's listed here? Councilmember Nyhart?
I know I started beautification, but I don't have any I don't have to stay on it. And we'd like to keep the mayor's awards going, and that's the mayor and the mayor pro tem. So I wondered if Councilmember Degree wanted to do that.
What's the meeting? I forget. I was on it at one time.
Beautification, it's the first Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's conflict with, is it every first Wednesday?
It's first Wednesday.
Yeah, I have airport commission that evening, but we don't do it every first Wednesday anymore. But I do want to stay on the airport.
Okay.
Oh, the noise, yeah.
Okay, so we'll retain it as is unless somebody else would.
Well, then, how about if we put Councilmember Degree as alternate, because when it comes to the
Sure.
award, she's going to want to be involved in that, I would assume.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm just,
Yeah,
like, we don't only meet quarterly anyway.
right. Then I'd put her down and I can be alternate or something.
Okay. I just want to add that one of the changes that we made was for Economic Development Committee. I would like to be on that committee if everybody else is okay with that. Any other changes? And then I just want to point out some committees that Councilmember Keener's been placed on, and that includes the Emergency Preparedness and Safety Committee. Okay, and they meet on the third Wednesday of the month. And then I will no longer be on that. And then the the Articulation Committee meetings between Jefferson Union and the Pacifica School District and the Water District and the city. And that's usually quarterly on Mondays, I don't.
No, typically we've been meeting on Thursdays.
Okay,
The next
Thursdays.
one is a week from Thursday.
Okay. And that's okay with you, Councilmember Keener?
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the changes, it's still listed here that I'm on the League of Cities, Transportation Communications, and I'm no longer on that committee this year. So we can take that off. And then Councilmember O'Neill, you were put on the Liaison Committee for the Library, and I just wanted to okay that with you. Great. Okay, and everything else. And then we did need some alternates for the Pacifica Community Television. Anybody like to volunteer? Mike is currently serving as the rep. Do we have anybody who would volunteer to be the alternate?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, great. And the Pacifica Resource Center, currently, John Keener is going to be taking that on. That's great, thank you very much.
Again, when are these?
That's on Thursdays, typically, and that's a
Every
very hard
Thursday?
time for me. It's 6:30.
No, every.
Oh, every quarterly.
I love meetings.
Okay.
I love the PRC.
You're an addict.
I am an addict, yeah.
Okay.
So Councilmember Degree is going to be the alternate
Yes.
on that? Okay, thank you.
And did we need an alternate for the San Mateo County Library JPA? Is that something?
If you want to have one, I mean, I don't think there's any of the meetings critical that we, have somebody there, but if you want to name one, that's fine.
Okay. If
Most cases, if someone doesn't show up, the city's just not there that month, that's all.
Okay. Anybody
you.
like to be an alternate, or we can leave it
What time
blank?
is that thing?
It's like
That's early in the morning.
8 in the morning, I think.
It's
8.
where, Foster City?
No, actually, they've been moving it, like they had San Carlos Library, Belmont Library, down there on Tower Road. So it kind of changes around.
Okay. We don't have anybody that's interested, so we'll leave that blank. Anybody else have any comments? Councilmember O'Neill, did you?
I just wanted to ask, we have a liaison for school volunteers, resource center, community television, library and all that. Did we used to have one for the chamber? Are we interested at all in having a liaison for the chamber?
Is it even on here?
That's up to the chamber.
Oh, okay.
They
Right.
Okay.
took that away.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, we looked.
Glad we have
We looked
someone.
into that.
I'm glad we have somebody with a historical memory.
Yeah.
We looked into that.
We were uninvited.
Oh.
Okay, any other comments? And
Right. Can we just go over the changes to make sure we have them
Definitely.
correctly? So on the Beautification Advisory Committee, Stu Degree is the alternate?
yes?
Okay. We're taking out the League Transportation Communications Policy
Yes.
Committee.
Can
And
we back up to beautification? I just think it should change to be the mayor's, the mayor pro tem so that we work that in. So I'll be alternate if
Okay.
Sue would be on, and I'll go.
And I typically go.
Yeah.
It's not a hard meeting for me to attend, so.
It's a hard one for me, it started to be a hard one for me to get to, too.
Right.
So that's part of the reason also, but Councilmember Irvin does a good job of getting there.
Okay. The county, San Mateo County Fire Authority, JPA, Councilmember Degree, you had mentioned having an alternate to that since there's two of you
Yes,
assigned to that.
otherwise, we're underrepresented because every city sends two. It's only quarterly, right, or semi-annually?
It's once a year.
It's supposed to be twice a year, did we?
Yeah, it's
vote
supposed to
that
be
out?
twice a
Is it
year.
twice a year?
It's supposed to be twice a year.
So we actually have two representatives on that, even though they're shown as a rep and an alternate. So we would,
Yeah.
an alternate.
Oh, you want an alternate in addition to that?
Yeah, so you're not,
Oh.
so you always have.
I've been on it before. I mean,
have
it's only
two.
twice a year.
Yeah, I'm
So if you get
You're okay with
hard
that?
up,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if you get hard up. But if you need two people present and one of you guys can't make it, I'm happy to go if I can.
Okay, and then next, Pacifica Community Television, the
No.
alternate is Sue.
Yep.
Again, Sue, the alternate for Pacifica Resource Center.
Yep.
And we're adding the Transportation Authority for Mary Ann
Yeah.
and John Keener. I'm sorry, you said and.
No, I said yes.
Okay, thanks.
Transportation Authority, I got elected.
Removing the word acting from the CCAG chair?
Yeah,
Yes.
I haven't
Yeah.
been acting since March.
Okay, so do you feel you're clear on the changes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And do I have any questions or motion?
Yeah, I actually have my conscience is bothering me.
Sure.
You can put me down for the Monday morning one. I really feel badly if nobody's there from the city.
Which one is
The library, JP?
The library, JPA library.
Okay, great.
Oh, you mean as an alternate?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure you make them all, but just,
yeah, I pretty much do, yeah. I was going to say, if you want to put me as an alternate for the economic development, that's okay, too.
Great. And we'll always have two.
So do we need to move approval?
I believe so. It's an action item, yeah.
Okay, I move approval of the committees and stuff,
I get
appointments
Ms.
as
Councilman.
amended.
Okay, okay. And then we have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Degree. So we're ready to vote? And that passes 5-0. And with that, I'm going to adjourn the meeting in honor of Elaine Larson. So thank you very much.